The first time I ventured out into the vast open land of Dragon's Dogma 2, I was accompanied by my 3 companions as we followed the lead on a missing boy, suspected to have been dragged off by a pack of wolves. As I pursued the trail, my crew and I fought off a gang of thieves, sliced our way through banshees, discovered treasure, and battled a giant troll on the edge of a cliff that also eventually fell and died from. None of these occurrences were at all related to one another, nor did they pertain to the lost boy that set this journey in motion. Instead, this thread of events emerged naturally and set the tone for the world of Dragon's Dogma 2, a giant open land where danger loomed around every corner in all shapes and sizes, and regardless of your quest, there's always the chance a griffin can just swoop in and unravel your best laid plans. Based on the 3 hours I played at a preview event, Dragon's Dogma 2 is very much an extension of everything the first game accomplished 12 years ago. It's an open-world fantasy RPG mixed with cool-as-hell action combat and giant mythical monsters to cling onto, with its unique player-created pawn companion system as a centerpiece. That's all still there, but this time, the most standout change is the RE engine-powered Makeover that aims to place the series' core values in the best possible light. Marching out into the grassy open fields of vermin to explore and fend off giant beasts felt familiar to the first game, but was given new life due to its technical and visual refinement. There was a sense of density and detail when traversing large and seemingly endless open areas into smaller towns populated with the hustle and bustle of its residents. There was no load time in the process either, and while I know that's becoming a norm in most games, there is something organic and impressive about trudging out of the wild into town, especially when factoring in the game has no fast travel. There is something just so immersive and harrowing about having just survived the grips of a giant griffin, only to realize you have to venture your way back on foot to the nearest town without even the breather of a loading screen. And also, not to forget anything you'd have to fight along the way, which there is a lot of. Now, it was during these many, many battles I faced while traversing the land of vermin where I got hands-on with one of the game's new vocations, the Mystic Spear Hand, a magic melee combo build. For returning players of the first game, you'll feel right at home, as its controls are virtually the same. Even when using an entirely new vocation, it took me no time to come to grips with its cycle of moves and playing around with some combos. Oh, and by the way, the Mystic Spear Hand vocation absolutely rules. It captured that Devil May Cry-like sense of over-the-top action that sent my character in the air doing wicked flips, but still somehow feeling grounded in the world's detailed aesthetic. Suffice to say, I felt super cool doing basically anything, especially when using magic to toss around my foes, and battling alongside my pawns who were equally doing cool stuff. Pawns, as they are in the first game, are the game's unique and standout feature.
I feel refreshed and ready for a new day.
They are user-created companions that can be traded online between players. By using a rift stone, you can send your own pawns into the rift, where they await being pulled out and used by other players on their journey. The benefit to using other players' pawns is that they will carry over items, or even hints and information from other players' worlds.
I've just recalled. I found a treasure chest near here during my travels beyond the rift. May I show you to its location?
Now, that all remains the same as it did 12 years ago in the first game, but this time, pawns are far more than just mere NPCs who assist you in battle, as they also act as a means to navigate you around the world itself. Instead of having your screen cluttered with waypoints, pawns now help guide you to your next objective. With no set direction on what to do or where to go for my preview, I allowed my pawns to point me in the direction of a quest we were on. And I mean that literally, like they would physically point at things or wave me down to get my attention. This all led to a natural flow in my adventure that didn't feel weighed down by map navigation and menu screens. While you won't be building intricate emotional bonds with your pawns like maybe you would with the companions in Baldur's Gate 3, They're far more lively than they were in the first game, chattering among themselves and talking about other masters they adventured with. They also still create a sense of teamwork despite being a single-player game. In a post-Souls world where summoning other players to assist you in battle has become something of a norm, pawns feel like they could have been some sort of gateway into introducing multiplayer into the Dragon's Dogma mix. However, I feel like the addition of multiplayer would mean vying for other players' attention or a lack of focus on a sole objective. And with that in mind, I came to appreciate the pawns more as facilitators within the world itself, opposed to filling a void in a single player's experience. Also, you can high-five your pawns after a battle, and it's the best damn feeling. That isn't to say pawns were always reliable. On more than one occurrence, a pawn insisted I follow them, knowing the way to my next destination.
Over here, Master. Did you lose sight of me?
Only to lead me to a locked gate I couldn't open. Instead, I stood there watching them march in place, face against the wall. I was assured that the preview I was playing wasn't the final build of the game, so there's still time to iron out those scenarios. It was a small hiccup in a world that was absolutely packed with things to get distracted and lost in, and it took no time to get pulled in 10 different directions. While I explored, pedestrians would grab my attention to tell me a story, give me insight on town gossip, or even information that could assist me on a quest. It gave the town a sense of life, a feeling of air that was being breathed while people went on with their day. It was in this time that I learned about the boy taken by wolves, or a valuable orb that had gone missing. They didn't feel like blatant quests to go and follow, but instead information I gathered to go and investigate on my own terms in my own time. The same was true when exploring the dry, red-washed sandy dunes of Battahl, the other major area of Dragon's Dogma 2. It was here I was given a different flavor of the game's inhabitants, still vying for my attention, albeit with a more hostile tone and sense of grit. Battahl, unlike Vermin, which is populated by humans, is the land of the Beastren, cat-like humanoids similar to Elder Scrolls' Khajiit. Battahl featured a more underbelly-like attitude, wedged into the side of mountains casted in shadow. The quests and stories I gathered reflected that attitude, like the curmudgeon blacksmith who didn't want to fix my sword, or the tough guy who started a one-on-one fight with me because I was strutting with my crew of high-fiving dudes, also known as pawns. In the 3 hours I played, I felt like I had seen a lot, fought a lot, and explored a lot. But I was also left feeling as though I had barely even scratched the surface of what Dragon's Dogma 2 has to offer. I never did find the boy who was dragged off by wolves. Instead, I was hurled into a dozen other stories, some the game provided to me, while others I formed from my own exploring. And that's the biggest impression the preview left on me. The danger, the freedom, and the wonderful happenstance of exploring a world that is densely inhabited by thieves, zombies, wolves, saurians, banshees, orcs, trolls, cyclops, and griffins, just to name a few I saw in my short time. It is a lot, especially considering I hadn't even touched its main story. It feels like a big world teeming with possibilities, and I'm excited to see how it all comes together.